bit. Hey, here's a story going from the House to the Senate. State Senator Tom Leake joining us right now on Florida's Voice. First of all, it's Drew Steele. Good to see you, sir. How are you? Congratulations.
Thank you. Good to see you again, Drew.
Yep, good to see you too. And for those that don't know, at first, like the changeover, right, going from the House to the Senate. I was joking with some folks in Tallahassee the other day. It's like going to the wrong locker room if you're on a sports team. It's like don't go to that door. You got to go to that door. But there's more to it, obviously, and the reason why you decided to run for that Senate seat.
Yeah, it was a good opportunity to continue on the work that I've been doing in the House, and I'm excited about it. But you're absolutely right. It's the first thing you got to do is get used to going to the left when you walk in the Capitol and not to the right, right? Yeah. And but it's a completely different ballgame. You go from one of 120 to one of 40. So immediately your voice has a little bit more gravity than it does in the House. But equally, it's a different process. In the House. Love this quote. I learned about it a long time ago. But the House has its its generals and its complete military structure. In the Senate, they always said it's like 40 Somali warlords. And to the House, it seems like that, right? Because everybody has their own voice and everybody's out there fighting for what's important to them.
Right. So then I guess I ask, what's important to you?
Yeah, two great things that I want to work on for the next 8 years. First, I think we can fix the insurance crisis, particularly as it relates to property insurance. I'm going to continue to focus on that, but the insurance companies have to be first and foremost more responsive to the consumers. There's no reason that a claim should take as long to process as it does. And then secondly, you and I have talked about this before, but I think we need to completely reimagine what success is for the K through 12 system. Right now we have brainwashed generations of parents and students, quite frankly, that if you don't go to college, you weren't successful. The fact of the matter is, where the most opportunity is today is in the trades. Yep. Right? You can come out, go into the trades. Your quickest path to a six-figure income, your quickest path to owning your own business is in the trades. And so I think what we need to be doing is we need to be saying success for K through 12 is whether that student is working full-time and productive in society a year after high school.
Yeah, we talked about it before, and I'm always amazed at the fantastic living you can make, right out of the gate, and the growth potential that you have in things like, plumbing, HVAC, and other trades. It's incredible, and the demand. And I'm so worried too. And I think maybe you can even speak to this. One of the things we take for granted is there's always going to be this pipeline. Like there's always going to be someone to do the work that needs to be done. And that's a really dangerous road to walk down, because if for far too long we've been encouraging people to do anything other than the trades, stay away from it. Like the only thing you can do is to go for that degree. And there's no other choice, which of course there is. We set up a dangerous precedent where, listen, one day we're going to turn around and there are going to be people that are going to retire. There are not going to be people that are going to come to these businesses. I mean, in a lot of ways, we see that already, how valuable it is to bring somebody in and to have somebody train in that particular trade, to bring them and to continue what is this thriving business. But I said, if you don't focus on it, or you don't at least talk about it and bring it up enough, it'll go away.
Listen, the numbers speak for themselves. So we should not only be talking about it, but we should be encouraging it. Right? It's a great living for kids coming out of high school. I've got a daughter who's 25 years old, and she and I talk about what her path is ahead of her. And I said, listen, kid, go look and see what a woman who operates heavy machinery can make out there. Go figure that out. And by the way, then you can open your own business and you get a leg up. I said, go figure that out. But look at the flip side of the numbers too, Drew. Think of the number of kids who are coming out of college with degrees that are meaningless and a ton of debt. I mean, that's just wrong. You're doing a kid a disservice to put them into a school where they're going to pile up debt and then have them get out and figure out there's no return on investment on that degree.
Right. Yeah, we've seen that too often, and I don't know what we do. I don't know how we talk. What is it? We talk more in our communities. Is there a way to get that message out? I mean, maybe something in session we can figure out a way to do that, to get that the message about the trades out. And then the other thing too is, maybe we could back up for a second, because everybody talks about the reforms that need to happen. I know the speaker, the House Speaker, Daniel Perez, was talking about it on the swearing-in day, and his focus and what he described as the need for the focus on property insurance and what we can do. But I guess, what can we do when it comes to the companies? I know you say in a broader sense, what their responsibilities should be. But there is also something to be said about getting more people in, more competition, right? To see the marketplace, that nobody's going anywhere, so it's here, and then we have what honestly is something that has to be brought up, which is that there are more people living on the coasts. There are less people that are living, centrally, but more people that are moving down here. They want to be by the beach. They want to be near the coasts. That's where a lot of that growth is, and so. I'm sure you know that. So how do we tackle that? Or maybe one of the first things out of the gate that we can do to look at.
Yeah. So the key is you've got to have more. There's so much demand. You need more supply, and that is happening. And what we've seen since the reforms from the last 2 years is you've seen rates come down. So we have more companies coming into the market. You have companies who have brought their rates down. And you have more companies who are bringing their rates down. And so you're increasing the supply, the competition out there, who they're bringing the rates. Here's where people get hung up. People confuse or conflate rates with premiums. Your premium as a homeowner is a function of the rate set by the insurance company and the cost of replacement. And we can look at cost of replacement, but we can't. There's no magic wand to wave over that. So even though rates are coming down, if inflation is driving cost of replacement up, then we've got a problem. So
that's a big one. I don't want. Forgive me for interrupting you, but boy, I don't want people to miss that. So that is a really important point for people to hear and to drive home, and it's this: there is a great opportunity in the future to have rates come down. Just in the matter of inflation and prices and getting that under control and the cost of doing business. If the cost of the materials and the cost of doing business comes down, then it should be, obviously with a competitive marketplace, in theory, it should bring those prices and those premiums down. It should be able to happen because with that combination, that's a major part of this. And that's why it's so important that we get inflation handled. It's a huge part of this, and I think it's an important point to make.
And that comes with the promise of a Donald Trump presidency, right? Out there, we see the opportunity to get inflation under control and bring down those prices, and that's a piece of it. And then at the state level, we need to look at what we can do to help bring down the cost of replacement. And I think there are things that we can do. Really, we are on the precipice of having property insurance premiums come down in a meaningful way. Right now we get into the weeds, right? That's what we do. We talk about rates versus cost of replacement. The consumer doesn't care. They just want their premium to come down. And if we're looking at what the long-term threats in Florida are, or to Florida, it's affordability of everything. So if we don't get, we continue to have a problem.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, sir. Well, listen, it's always great to have you on the program. Hope to have you back on soon. Certainly as we get ready for session coming up, there's going to be a lot to discuss. So we're looking forward to the conversation. So it's great to see you. All the best. God bless.
Great. Good to see you too, Drew. Take care. Happy Thanksgiving.
See you soon. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. All right. Great to see you. That is State Senator Tom Leake joining us on Florida's Voice. Yeah, look, it's an important part of it. There are things that the state can do, as he's described, and I'm sure that conversation is going to come up, but don't miss that. Man, the Trump effect. Here we go. If we can get inflation under control, we can get the costs of business to go down, the cost of materials to go down in a competitive marketplace, we get back to a place that we know we need to be. Hope that makes sense. All right, before we go to break, what do we got here on Florida's Voice? I like this one. Okay. Maybe I tease this, and then we come back from the break on this. Hey, Big D, how would you like to add 11 years to your life?
That would be great.
That would be nice. Now, 11 quality years to your life.
Well, that's the difference, yes.
Right. Okay. I just want to clarify that. I might have the answer to that. And it might be so simple, according to the experts, that even you could do it. Well, no, that's rude. I'm sorry. I didn't to say that even you could do it.
What does that mean, Drew?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, you caught me. But when we come back from the break, I'll explain what it is. It's real simple. It's good, and 11 years is a lot. And I think you would want to hear this coming up. And then also, some of the other things that popped up on my feed today. I got to tell you that I was shocked to see John Morgan on News Nation with Chris Cuomo for a lot of different reasons. John Morgan, right? John Morgan, who pretty much, I don't know, is eviscerated the right word? The Democrat Party? Not only what they did nationally, but what they did here in the state of Florida, and talking about Kamala Harris and some of the things that he said about her as far as her future. Whoa. Like, it's, as the kids used to like to say, it's heavy. Nobody says that now, but yeah, we'll have that audio coming up here on Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move. When being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
The creators of the video game Minecraft have announced that they will plan to open a U.S. theme park. Said Minecraft fans, yeah, we're still not going outside.
I'm sorry. Sorry, that's actually funny. Yeah, I guess, okay, yeah. I don't know. Big D, did you ever play Minecraft? Do you still play Minecraft? Do you know how to spell
Never
Minecraft?
played, but I never played it. I've seen videos on it, but I do know that that joke is actually kind of funny because it is probably the top 1 or 2 games in the world right now.
Yeah, it is. And it involves doing no moving at all or leaving your house, which is a bad thing because that leads us into what we were talking about before. The best return on investment since Bitcoin might be for you as as your body goes. This is the way it's described in this article. It says if every American over the age of 40 walked, every hour of walking could yield up to 6 hours of additional life. So if every American over the age of 40 was as physically active as the most active quarter of the population, they could expect to live an extra 5 years on average. And for the least active quarter of the population to match the most active group, they would need to be about 111 minutes of daily walking to their routine. It might sound challenging, but the potential reward is nearly 11 additional years of life expectancy. So they're saying if you walk for an hour a day, you're doing yourself some good, especially if you're like near the age of 40 and you want to add some years to your life. Are you walking, Big D? Do you walk at all?
From my door to the car when I go somewhere.
Oh, come on. Is that it? Yeah, but so, all right. For those that don't know, a little inside of Florida's Voice with Drew Steele Baseball here. D, you're like thin. You're like skinny anyway, right? Is that what it is? You're like one of those kids that you've always been thin? Is that why you don't do the kind of walking, the exercise like that? Or do you?
Yeah, I don't find the need to walk, but if it's going to put on 5 years of me living down the road, I might do it.
If you might do it, you should do it. Although I know you're thin, and I think that's what probably haunts thin people. Maybe haunts is a bad way to put it, but you're always thin, family's thin, so you're like, I'm good. I don't have to walk. See, don't do that. Don't be like those haunted skinny people. that came out totally wrong. But you know what I'm saying. Don't just get out there and walk. And here you go, D. You can walk and play Minecraft at the same time. Why don't you do that? Maybe.
I don't think you can.
Well, if you got those, do they still have those Google goggles or the Googles or whatever they call those things?
Stand on that walking gaming treadmill so it looks like you're walking forward as you're playing with the VR goggles. That's a mess.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Is that Apple? Is that the Apple? Hey, but do people still do that? The Apple Google goggle things there? Is that still a thing?
Oculus is what I was talking about, the Oculus goggles.
No, I was talking about the Apple thing. The Apple ones, because remember when that was the big talk, the big hot item, and everybody was like, "Wow, this is amazing!" And Apple's got these, and then it's like,
and you hear nothing about them.
There it goes. Bye. Like, what happened to them? I wonder if
I haven't heard anything about them in forever.
I know. Do they still exist? Are they still?
I'm sure they exist. Maybe they're just not as popular as they were hyped up to be.
Yeah. I wonder what a version 2 of that would be. Like, this one won't make you want to vomit. I don't know, because maybe that's part of it. It just gets you too sick, the movement thing. Or maybe that's just me. Or maybe we move on with some movement. Why don't we do that? All right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back from the break, yeah, I've got this audio, John Morgan on Chris Cuomo's program, which is like, it's wild. Plus, here's another thing that's wild as a question. Where's Antifa after Trump's victory? I thought we were going to be burning cities down been awfully quiet, hasn't it?
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
You know, some might say this is the Trump effect, but some people also might say it's been like this all along, like the elimination of DEI. And wait till you hear what major company that you visit all the time is getting rid of their DEI policies. You won't believe it coming up.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show.
Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important.
We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with an offer that can help steer your retirement in the right direction. Look, we're going to navigate the turbulent waters of 24 with this financial uncertainties and shifting tides. Having expert guidance is more crucial than ever, and that's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. As Southwest Florida's certified financial planner professional, Alfie brings expert knowledge and insight. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, isn't just a guide. It's your navigational compass for mastering the financial seas. With decades of experience, Alfie has crafted a powerful roadmap to help you chart your course and make impactful waves in your retirement. Look, for a limited time, you can claim your free copy of this valuable guide. That's right, no cost. This book is more than just pages. It's your blueprint for a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. Don't let this opportunity drift by. Text book to 239-747-1080. That's book to 239-747-1080. Look, secure your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently navigate towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move. When being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today.
It's always a good day when you hear from TJ Meister from the Floor Meisters in Naples, 6281 Naples Boulevard, 239-596-4964. All right, let's see what's going on with TJ today. How are you, TJ?
I'm doing well, thank you, Drew. It's good to hear you on the radio.
Thanks, TJ. Appreciate it. All right, Floor Meisters, what do we got going on?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for Cortec. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the west coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. If somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
Why do people love Cortec so much?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
You got to call the Floor Meisters in Naples. What do you need? Tile, carpet, Cortec, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, 596-4964. Give them a call, 596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just got to hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us the voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for your support for veterans in the military. Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, good to see you here. Thanks for joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D on the other side of the glass. Nina's in the newsroom getting all the breaking news together for us during the day. Scheduled to join us coming up in about 15 more minutes. Less than that is Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart. We'll talk tariffs. We'll talk the Trump effect. There's a lot of things to go over coming up. And anytime you want to watch, by the way, at FL Voice News, you can go to Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, X. We are there broadcasting live. And don't forget to subscribe to all the channels. And there on X, you can ring the bell. How do we describe that, D? You ring the bell or you wait, hold on a second. Let me just get this straight. You hit the bell. Ding! That bell, right? And it's up at the top right-hand corner. And then when you hit the bell, you don't hear that sound. But you'll know when we are live, so you won't miss a second of it. How's that sound?
That sounded pretty straightforward, although you said you were going to talk to Elon Musk about getting my voice on there when you hit that bell. So let me know how that works out.
I will. I'm getting on it right now. No, I'm not. But anyway, that's okay. A couple of things that we are following. Absolutely wild how powerful one X account can be. DC Drano putting this out just a little while ago and talking about Robbie Starbuck and Walmart and some of what Walmart is doing, among many others who have decided that, hey, maybe DEI is not the way to go. How about this?
I'm reading in today's Wall Street Journal about how Walmart is pulling back on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs.
Whoa, really? They're pulling back on the DEI?
Programs under pressure from a conservative activist. So a few of the changes here, phasing out the term DEI, winding down the Center for Racial Equity, no longer giving priority treatment to suppliers based on race or gender diversity, and preventing sellers from listing some transgender-related or themed items on the website. So is that accurate from what you're hearing, and why the changes?
They're talking to a dude on CBS this morning.
Well, first of all, good morning and thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I'm in
he's a
Houston, Texas, and our friends with location, so it's...
All right, so this is Walmart U.S. CEO and President, John Furner. Okay, so it's not just some dude. It's Walmart CEO here.
Exciting to be in the store this time of year. First, let me say, like many companies all across the United States, we've been on a journey, and we continue to be on a journey.
Oh, they're on a journey. Big D, Walmart's on a journey. Did you know Walmart's on a journey? They're on a journey. Did you have any idea? Big D,
it's quite
Walmart's
the
on
interesting journey.
Yeah, they are on a journey.
It's actually, it's nice to see it coming around to reality.
And what we're trying to do is to ensure that every customer, every associate feels welcome here to shop.
Well, why wouldn't they feel welcome to shop? There's stuff to buy. You come into the store, you buy the stuff. That's all there is to it. Whatever there is in the store, the stuff to buy, you buy the stuff. That's the comfort level of buying stuff.
And to feel like they belong. And that term belong, we've been talking about belonging now for almost 2 years.
All right, let me just stop for a second. So it's belonging, feeling comfortable. Okay. It doesn't sound like he... Big D, is it safe to say that he doesn't sound like he's necessarily into doing what has been described, getting rid of the DEI policy, or is it trying to explain to people that want the DEI still there at Walmart that it's not my fault, or there's nothing I can do, or I'm sorry about that, and maybe next time? I mean, it's a weird vibe the guy's giving off.
I'm hearing a slight hint of annoyance in his voice.
Right, like, I didn't want to do this. This wasn't my idea as the CEO and president of Walmart. Okay, so we know the story, right? So Walmart is going to be dropping their DEI policies. Now, Robbie Starbuck was the conservative that was breaking this story wide open. So what exactly did Robbie Starbuck say about the things that Walmart was doing?
Bullet point number 1, Walmart will be removing all inappropriate sexual and or transgender products that are marketed toward kids, things like chest binders for teenagers or books that encourage transitioning. That is all going to be gone. Bullet point number 2, Walmart is going to review and stop funding to all events that could be sexually inappropriate for kids. That includes drag queen story time or pride events that expose kids to sexually inappropriate topics. That's all going to stop going forward. Third bullet point, Walmart will be closing their racial equity center. This is a center they had committed $100 million to, and it was a 5-year project. They will be closing that center going forward. Fourth bullet point, Walmart will no longer participate in the HRC's Corporate Equality Index social credit system. This scoring system is what has brought wokeness into so many segments of corporate America, and we are happy to see them no longer participating.
I don't know. That all sounds pretty good to me, that they're getting rid of that. Hopefully they are getting rid of that. Hopefully it's not a, hey, we're going to get rid of our DEI policies and behind the scenes orders. I'm not going to tell anybody. We'll just keep doing it. It's okay. You can keep it continuing. Come to Walmart. Come to Walmart. Okay. I don't know, but we'll see. But hopefully they are going to be eliminating a lot of these woke policies. Maybe you didn't even know that was happening. Well, somebody did. Robbie Starbuck has been watching this, and many other companies. That's an almost $1 trillion company, as DC Drano was describing, with nearly 2 million employees dropping a corporate policy because of somebody who decided to let people know with a very large X following that, hey, I don't know if you know this is going on, but here it is, and maybe it's time it goes. And so they got caught, and so they're changing. You heard some of the things, so I don't know. What do you think? 866-588-8303 anytime you want to call. All right, what else do we have going on here on Florida's Voice? Waiting for Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart to give us a call in just a minute. But first, all right, some of the things that we were mentioning. Oh, this is so good. All right, in just a little while, I'm going to play some audio of Scott Jennings, who was on CNN, as he always is, I guess the conservative that is there, the Republican that's on CNN. And the fun that they were having there on the program with regard to X and some of what they just don't like about it. You know, this idea of having a free speech platform, and pretty much calling CNN out for their own reporting. It was a brilliant takedown. So we're going to have that coming up in just a second. All right, here we go. Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart joining us on Florida's Voice. It's always great to hear his voice, as here he is. How's it going?
How are you, sir? How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Having a good week so far, and I mean it's early, but the weather's great. Everything is good. The air smells fresher. And knowing that Trump's going to be in office very soon, things feel good. And I think that people are starting to realize that the president-elect isn't messing around, and I think you're probably having conversations with people about this regarding some of the moves that the president-elect has been talking with regard to tariffs. To see what's going on with Mexico and what they're deciding to do now with the threat of these tariffs, and Canada as well, and maybe your thoughts on Trump's tariffs. What do you think about this whole idea?
Drew, it's a new day. It's a new day in America. It's a day of hope and future prosperity and strength, and you're seeing that. And it's really interesting. He hasn't sworn in, obviously, and yet already you're having it's changed the world already, and just wait to see what's coming. And I think, look, I happen to be a believer, and I truly believe that God and the American people just saved this country, and by saving our country, in essence, saved the world. And we have serious challenges, but we have a real leader now in the White House, and we have, while it's the slimmest of margins, control in the House, and we have control in the Senate. So we are already preparing a very aggressive agenda. It's going to be a very aggressive agenda. It's exactly what President-elect Trump talked about. It's doable. It's not. Is it easy? No. Is it doable? Absolutely. We're going to get it done. And there's renewed optimism. And there is a sense of finally, the United States is back to, and it's going to be back to the United States that we all know and love.
Yeah.
The country of strength and of decision and of opportunity and of leadership, for God's sake. It's a new day, and I could not be happier. I could not be more thrilled. And I'll tell you what, I could not be more grateful. I do. Look, I believe that God still has a plan for our country. I think my dad used to say that God doesn't have to sign the miracles. You just have to recognize when they happen. And I think we've all seen, frankly, even on national TV, miracle after miracle. That moment when a bullet that was meant to kill President Trump, grazed him just because at that millisecond he just happened to turn his head. And so you could say, well, these are all coincidences. Well, I happen to be a person who believes in the hand of God, and I do. I'm convinced that God and the American people, using the American people, have saved this country, and we could not have a better leader, a person more ready, a person. And the other thing is this: would anybody else other than President Trump have been able to survive what he's been through? The entire force of the federal government and state governments and local governments being used to try to destroy him, to literally try to throw him in prison. Then actually 2 attempts to murder him, to kill him. I do generally, I seriously tell you that I am just awe-inspired by the greatness of our country, of the American people, and yes, by the fact that I'm convinced that God continues to protect this country and continues to have a plan for our amazing country.
Yeah. Oh, no, I agree with all of that. And it also depends on what we decide to do after the fact. Certainly, if we want to be biblical, right, we don't want to turn our back on God either, because we see the Bible is replete with nations that decided to do that, and it didn't turn out very well. And so you have to remember that ultimately there has to be that movement towards, and I think in a lot of ways there will be, if for no other reason, that it's always been there. And there have been people that have tried to convince us that we are a secularly, culturally replete, progressive nation that doesn't care about God and is walking away from God and would not have God in their platform as a political party, let's just say. And this is the way it is in America. And I would say that the American people have said, no, that's not who we are, and that's not what's going on. And so that's where the follow-up happens, right? That's where now we get to business.
Absolutely, but I'll tell you what we have, and you know, I'm thrilled to see that, you know, we are. It's basically, look, the House Republicans and the Senate Republicans, we're in lockstep with President Trump.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a very, very ambitious agenda. But let me tell you what I think is going to happen. We are going to, and again, first, the president's going to do a lot on his own through executive order, just reverting and reversing this craziness that this country has had to endure for the last 4 years, right? But also, we're going to do legislative things, and we really have, I think, a very short amount of time to do them in.
Yeah.
But if we do them, and we're going to, I'm convinced of it, we're not going to become energy. Not only are we going to become energy independent, we're going to become energy dominant, and that is good for our economy. That's good for jobs. That's good for the American people. It's good for our allies. It's good for our national security. Heck, it's actually even really good for the environment. And we're going to do that, and we're going to get a lot of pushback. We're going to do that. We're going to obviously keep taxes low. Remember that if we do nothing, taxes are about to skyrocket and are going to just, you know, jump up immensely. We're not going to let that happen. Number three is we're going to get rid of all this new, stupid, excessive, crazy, destructive regulation that has been added to small businesses and to everybody, and frankly, that has really hurt this economy. We're going to get rid of all those. We are going to, again, bring back common sense. We're going to adhere to the rule of law. We're going to close down this southern border and the northern border for illegal entry. We're going to stop those cartels that have been controlling the southern border, because, you know, when people talk about, and I've said this publicly a lot, people talk about, the Biden administration opened the border. No, it's worse than that. They didn't open the border. It's worse than that in the sense that they gave control. Biden-Harris, as a policy, gave control of the southern border to the narco cartels, the Mexican narco cartels. Those days are over. And so I am really, really optimistic. If we get this done, which we're going to do, I'm convinced of it. And you're going to see a number of things happen immediately. Number one is, by the way, we're also going to control government spending, and which means that we're going to control and start lowering inflation and the cost of living and obviously the cost of energy. We're going to do all these things. If we do this, you're going to see this economy blossom like it did under the first term of President Trump, with Republican control of the House and the Senate those 2 years. It took all that to get it done. We're going to do it again. And so my thing is that I want to get back to work. We're now organizing. We've got to organize. We've got to put the committee together, everything else. It's a necessary part of doing it. I just can't wait until we get back to the business of showing the American people what we can do with real leadership, what we can do if we stick to what has made this country great. It's not the size of the federal government. It's controlling the size of government. It's not raising taxes. It's taking less of people's money. It's leading internationally without arrogance, but with real leadership and with certainty. And again, as I mentioned, you're already seeing that. And so I think the best days are ahead of our country. But to your point, we were, I think, at a precipice because of what you were saying, right? That this last 4 years has been try to impose just frankly insanity on the American people.
Yeah, it was a lie.
I mean,
it was
some
a
things
lie,
that you would just think are
all
just stupid. I mean,
all of it was a lie. It was a lie. You know, we were lied to for 4 years about the direction that the country wanted to go in. It was a lie. All of it. Every bit of it. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's an important it's an important distinction, an important point to make, that, you know, that we were sold something. And obviously the people have spoken, and, you know, and I don't have a problem with some ripping the Band-Aid off on a lot of things. Like, tough things are going to happen to get us back on track. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. And we're going to have a lot of people yelling and a lot of people screaming.
Let them yell.
And it's going to be the end of the world. Well, you know something? No, it isn't. It's going to be the beginning of a reemergence of the United States of America. And again, I don't know if anybody else other than President Trump would have. I guarantee you, nobody would have been able to survive what he's gone through.
Right.
That's a guarantee.
Right.
And so, you know, I couldn't be more optimistic. I really couldn't. Now, I understand it's going to be tough. I understand that we're going to get every editorial board and all the corporate media saying how horrible we are. Well, you know something? I was about to say a bad word and I can't. But
please don't.
Darn them, okay?
Yeah.
Because we have a job to do. And again, you're you know, kind of, I hate to be repetitive, but I have to say what you've been saying is so true. And it's so crazy. Look, everybody, you don't have to be a college, you know, professor. Actually, it looks like the college professors are the ones that are confused.
Yeah,
right?
please don't be a
college
professor.
Little things and simple things like, duh, of course biological men can't use women's facilities. Of course biological men should not be able to compete in women's sports. These are not controversial. People are going to try to make it controversial. No, of course the United States has not the right, the responsibility to be the ones who determines who comes in and who leaves this country. This is not something that we can allow the cartels or anybody to decide. The United States has the responsibility to protect the borders. And so, yeah, there's going to be a lot of yelling. But I will tell you, the American people are wise. The American people no longer believe all of those lies. And you know what we're seeing, by the way, is the unmasking of the so-called, whatever you want to call them, that corporate media that for years has been basically lying, and they've been the only voice. Well, thank God there are other voices that the American people know exist that are not censored. You know, look, case in point, I'm talking to one of those voices, right? And so the American people get it, and yeah, it's going to be tough. And I just can't wait to start on this very aggressive agenda. We're going to get it done.
Good. All right, good stuff. All right, Congressman, listen, always great to have you on. All the best. God bless, and we'll see you soon, okay?
Thank you, sir. All the best.
All right.
Take care of yourself.
All right, take care. There he goes. That's Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart joining us on Florida's Voice. And he sounds pumped. I don't know. Big D, you think he sounds pumped? He sounds like he's ready to go.
Pumped. He's ready to roll. It seems like he's got his agenda ready to go, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, no doubt. And by the way, when he was talking about the media, and thank you for saying, you know, other places to go like Florida's Voice with Drew Steele and Big D and Nina. And so I'm giving you a little bit of a credit there too, Big D, because couldn't get it done without you. Couldn't get it done. Okay. All right, that was actually a live ding. The live ding sounded a lot like the recorded ding. It's just the pitch was a little too high, D. It's a little too high. So you gotta hit it a little more. Ding. See where it is?
All right, next time.
Next time. Okay, good. So you're talking about the corporate media. This was one of these funny moments in the corporate media. Scott Jennings was talking about X, and he was bringing up. Let me see if I can play this one clip, because I could play this other one later. This is the one I wanted to hit. Basically, they're talking about Elon Musk and X and these alternative places to go to get information. And well, listen to this exchange.
I heard what you're saying about X. I saw a survey this week. It's now the most ideologically balanced user platform.
Stop. It's too early. I just sat down. I've only been here for 2 minutes. You cannot continue to say that. You cannot say that. So that's the case. Who's the source of that?
What I find, we reported it on this network.
They're like, what's your source? Where did you get that from? I can't even believe that. This network? No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Look at this. The party ID among those who regularly use X/Twitter for news. Back in 2022, 65% of those who regularly use Twitter/X for news were Democrats. Just 31% were Republicans. Look at where we are today. Just a completely different picture. Now it's basically split between Democrats at 48%, Republicans at 47%.
So Scott Jennings is like, yeah, it's remarkable. Like, people are getting their news 50-50. Like, it went from X being just something that Democrats were going to mostly, and now it seems like a source for like everybody's going there, like 50-50. Where did you get that from? You said it. This network said it, and here's the proof. Oh man, that was an awesome takedown. And then the conversation continued. And I wanted to see if I had that clip of audio. And I think I do. Yeah. Was this it when they started to talk about Elon Musk and Elon Musk being just a bunch of trouble, right?
The site changed radically, right? So whether you think the voices it is somehow more balanced now, that's fine. But no doubt Musk's influence is profound, and that you open it up and now you're there with his opinion, and he is now part of this administration.
First of all, he's not allowed to have an opinion, but yeah, it's balanced now. X is balanced thanks to Elon Musk.
So does anyone else think that there should be this greater concern about billionaires purchasing media companies? Okay. Would you be worried if Bill Gates controlled MSNBC?
Hey, Big D, do you want to tell him or do you want me to tell him? Listen.
Would you be worried if Bill Gates controlled MSNBC?
What does the MS and MSNBC stand for, D?
It's mainstream?
No, it stands for Microsoft.
That's what I say. That's what I say.
That's awesome.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you probably know this. I've had a music career, an EMI published songwriter in the past. I've had a top 20 Billboard hit and movie soundtracks. But I got my start right here in Southwest Florida at Soundcheck Studios with Jim Becker. I worked with Jim when he was producing big names like Castrol and Beck's Beer and other commercial clients from ABC, NBC, CBS. He's done it all. It doesn't make a difference what your musical style is. If you're talking about recording for bands or producing music, jingles, he does it all at Soundcheck Studios. Recently, he worked with RCA artist Doja Cat and also a Sony artist Flipped Arrow. A lot of great artists have made their way through Soundcheck Studios. So if you want to make your brand memorable with a jingle or maybe a commercial you want to cut, or maybe it's a band, give Soundcheck Studios a call today. 239-340-0515. That's 239-340-0515 for Soundcheck Studios.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Radical anti-hunting forces are working to ban fishing and hunting across the country. These extreme attacks on our heritage must be met. Thankfully, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting back as the nation's premier organization defending our rights to fish and hunt. This April, you can step into the arena with us and join our fight in Naples, Florida. Join us at the historic Ritz-Carlton Tiburon and hear from world-class speakers including Tucker Carlson. The annual event is the best place for conservationists, anglers, hunters, and all those who want to protect the outdoors to come together, build strategies to protect our rights, and expand opportunities in the future for generations to come. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. You don't want to miss this event.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with a game-changing offer for those ready to master their retirement journey. Look, we're going to navigate unpredictable waters in 24. An election year marked by financial uncertainty. It's crucial. You've got to have expert guidance. That's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. The Southwest Florida Certified Financial Planner Professional. Alfie brings unparalleled experience and insight to the table. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, it's not just a guide. It's your strategic compass for navigating the financial seas with confidence. Look, with decades of experience, Alfie has created a powerful roadmap. It'll help you chart your course and make meaningful waves in your retirement. And for a limited time, you can get your hands on this book free. That's right, no cost. The book is more than just a collection of stories. It's a blueprint for achieving a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. So don't miss out. Text book to 239-747-1080 right now. It's book to 239-747-1080 and claim your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently steer towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, anytime you want to call, we are live 3 to 6 p.m. right here on Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. 866-588-8303 is the phone number. 866-588-8303, wherever you are in the state of Florida. And, of course, you can watch at FL Voice News on all our social media platforms. That's X, YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. We appreciate that. All right, and we appreciate Anita Padilla in the Florida's Voice newsroom.
Top of the news, Florida's headlines.
Now. Because right now she's got the latest from the Florida's Voice newsroom. What do we got?
Hey, Drew, Governor DeSantis continues to take a stand, a firm stand, on immigration enforcement. The governor says states and cities should be helping, not preventing, the federal government with immigration enforcement as a condition of receiving federal funding. Good. In fact, he said federal funds should be contingent on cooperation. He feels it is not only appropriate, but also constitutional. DeSantis has taken a pretty strong stance against sanctuary cities, reminding mayors here in Florida this week that Florida is not a sanctuary state, that local officials have no authority to stop federal enforcement of immigration laws, and that any mayor who does will face consequences. Good. Hey, speaking of illegals coming over the border, President-elect Donald Trump is threatening big tariffs on 3 major countries, Mexico, Canada, and China. Trump says the invasion of illegal immigrants and the flow of deadly drugs like fentanyl continue to make their way into American cities. And he said one of his first acts as president will be to initiate 25% tariffs on products from Canada and Mexico and a 10% tariff on goods coming in from China. Good news for homeowners keeping a close watch on their insurance rates. The Office of Insurance Regulation says the insurance market is showing signs of improvement and stability, which will ultimately lead to lower rates for you. Commissioner Mike Yawarski announcing 3 of the major state-backed insurance funds got credit rating upgrades from Moody's. We're talking about the Hurricane Disaster Fund, Citizens, and Florida Insurance Guarantee Association. Basically, what it means is that your premium rates could soon come down.
Let's hope so.
And we all like lower rates.
Yeah.
We'll keep you posted on that. All right, that is it for now. Be sure to check out all of our other stories, like the one for small business owners who've been hit hard by those hurricanes. There's an extension out there to make your claims. We've got all the details on our webpage. Just head over to Florida's Voice. I'm Anita Padilla, the news director here at Florida's Voice. Drew, back over to you.
All right, Anita. Appreciate you there in the Florida's Voice newsroom. You can go to flvoicenews.com and find out more about these stories and others, including what she just described there at the end. Pretty important stuff and the extension of some deadlines. Also, one of the very important stories that's rolling out there, like who's it going to be? Who's going to be running in certain areas of the state with regard to some of these seats that are open in CD1 and CD6. And we know that the endorsements started rolling out after Senator Randy Fine officially announced that he's running for Florida's 6th congressional district. That's the seat that was held by Michael Waltz, and he is getting a lot of endorsements. We know yesterday, as we described it, and I think Anita was the one that described Trump and Trump's endorsement if he were to run. We know that the Republican Jewish Coalition announced that it was proud to endorse Fine, a Jewish lawmaker, a longtime friend of the coalition, and many others. Congressman Byron Donalds also endorsed Randy Fine, a leading voice in the fight against anti-Semitism, a staunch defender of our ally Israel, and never backs down from a fight. Exactly the kind of fighter we need in Congress as we work to implement President Trump's mandate. So a lot of those making their way out there, these endorsements. So we hope to have Randy Fine on with us very soon, and working on that, certainly. All right, what else do we have going on here on Florida's Voice? All right, let's see. Yeah, this one I was looking at before. I keep seeing constantly, I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but Jim Acosta is trending on X, and I keep thinking, oh man, it keeps popping, like his name pops up and then it goes away, and then it pops up and it goes away. I'm wondering what that's all about. Well, it's probably on the heels of the news that came out yesterday, I believe, that Caitlin Collins has been named the new CNN chief White House correspondent. So as the chief White House correspondent, she's the one now that is going to be questioning the president at at press conferences. She's the one that will be there as opposed to Acosta. And everybody knows Jim Acosta in the past, right?
You are a rude, terrible person.
Yeah, exactly. But in case you forgot about Jim Acosta and some of the hilarity that would ensue when he would grab a microphone in the first Trump administration, and what he would say with regard to different issues that were out there. And let me just say this. This is such a sweet find. And thanks to the newsroom to finding this. Here's a clip of Jim Acosta going after Donald Trump as president of the United States because Trump declared a national emergency at the border. Trump declares a national emergency at the border, and Jim Acosta steps up to a microphone with angel families around. They're there talking about in the Rose Garden about the issues along the border, and here's Jim Acosta. Listen.
Federal
prisons. I believe in facts and statistics and data.
Okay, any more quick. Let's go.
But let me just ask you this. What do you say to your critics who say that you are creating a national emergency, that you're concocting a national emergency here in order to get your wall because you couldn't get it through other ways?
Moms, what do you think? Do you think I'm creating something? Ask these incredible women who lost their daughters and their sons, okay? Because your question is a very political question, because you have an agenda. You're CNN. You're fake news. You have an agenda.
Now, you love hearing the CNN fake news clip, right? In that part of the conversation. But how about that? How about that now as we have hindsight on that moment in time? That's Jim Acosta, CNN, going after Donald Trump for declaring a national emergency along the border and getting sued for it, wanting to get a border wall up,
and Jim Acosta saying that it was all concocted. With angel families there. Like, that's crazy when you think about it. And so I guess you won't be seeing anything from Jim Acosta then, I guess, in this way. It'll now be Caitlin Collins. But does it really matter? I mean, either way, it's pretty much going to be the same thing that we've seen before, unfortunately, with regard to the talk that's happened there.
You are a rude, terrible person.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, so we have that's out there. Also, some of the other stories that we continue to watch, you think about news and you think about fake news and you think about news organizations and some of what news organizations have done, what they've done and tried to do to you. Just remember something. Every time you get these political fake news stories, as it were, every time you get a network that decides to air something or not air something, just remember they decide that not because of any other reason except politics. Like, we're not going to put something out to hide something from you in order to protect somebody else, somebody that we side with and an ideology we believe in. Like, we will change the narrative and help to change the narrative in order to protect something that we believe in. Against you. Like, this is the news that the Axios CEO yesterday was screaming about. How dare Elon Musk say anything about the media is now you, and people go to X and other platforms in Florida's Voice to get their news. How dare you do that? You're not a journalist. You're not doing the hard digging. Time out, pal. Time out. We know exactly what you've done, and we now have people, reporters, journalists, that are calling you out, and people like you, like Catherine Harridge. This was shocking today. This is just part of Catherine Harridge reports. She's no longer with CBS News. She was at Fox, went to CBS News, and now she's doing her own thing, right? The untold story of their Hunter Biden reporting at CBS. How about this?
We eventually broadcast a story about the Hunter Biden laptop after the midterm elections in 2022. We commissioned a forensic review. I got a copy of the laptop data. I have it here still. I went to a lot of effort to get the cleanest copy of the laptop data, the same data that was provided to the FBI, because I didn't want to have any professional journalistic risk for CBS News. I wanted this thing to be totally locked down.
So that's Catherine Harridge, who is saying, listen, I wanted to protect CBS News and the integrity of the story that I wanted to present by making sure I got a clean copy of Hunter Biden's laptop from the source itself, not from any third party or anything that anyone could look and say that the contents are tainted. No. This is as clean a copy as could possibly be retrieved, so that the integrity of the network and the integrity of the story would be in place. That's big. So what happened?
When we did the story,
yeah,
we did it after the midterms. I argued against that because it was ready before the midterms. And my training is that you should always do the story when it's ready to go. You should not be dictated by the political cycle.
Right. Okay. So again, Catherine Harridge, she's at CBS News at the time, has the clean data of the Hunter Biden laptop.
Once we got the laptop story on the morning news, I felt that there was so much there that we could still do. For example, in the text messages, there's unfortunately the use of the N-word, the liberal use of the N-word. And I thought this was worthy of a story, but I was told that it was not something that interested CBS News. Then I asked for a forensic review of the laptop, and we found that there were more than half a dozen emails that were likely used by Joe Biden. Whoa. I thought that was a story. But the answer that came back was, well, we need to know what the content is of the emails. But that was going to be a years-long process. So there was no way. So there were a lot of reasons I was told not to do it, not to pursue it.
Wow. And she's got a 22-minute video that goes on in depth to talk about more with regard to the Hunter Biden laptop and what CBS News would not do. Make sure you you understand exactly what we're talking about here, and to be specific. This is what the news media is doing to you in making sure the legacy fake news media, if you will, has been doing to you for far too long. Keeping things from you, keeping the truth from you, hiding, holding back information for a political agenda. This is what they've been doing for far too long. And now that it's all come to the surface and we know it, thanks to President Trump in the first term, can we just be honest about that too? Could you imagine if Hillary Clinton were president of the United States for... I'm sorry, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Can you imagine if she were the president of the United States? I mean, besides that, all the things that we wouldn't have known about. The Russia collusion hoax we wouldn't have known about. Information, well, clearly the propping up of the media and not being able to find out more about the Twitter files and the alphabet bureaucracy and how much involvement they had in Twitter before Elon Musk bought it to censor information from you. How that would have just been another average day. Nobody would have thought about it. Things that could have been hidden. And again, this is an attack on you. This is a political attack on you when they keep information from you. And the fact that we know now that many people are going to other sources, Florida's Voice, and going to other places to get information drives them crazy because they can't control you anymore. And this election proved it. That you can't be controlled anymore the way that they have done it for far too long. Those days are over. Over. Say it, D. Over.
Over.
Nice. All right, let's take a break. At FL Voice News if you want to watch on X, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook. We're right there. Live 3 to 6. It's Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older-adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older-adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Anytime you want to call, we are live 3 to 6 p.m. You can do that by dialing 866-588-8303. 866-588-8303. Anytime you want to watch the program unfold before your very eyes, there I am, you can go to any of our social media platforms at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. We appreciate you watching. Oh, look at this. We got a woke news update.
This is Woke News Today with your host, Drew Steele.
Thanks, Biff. Hey, Big D, are you familiar with mistletoe? Mistletoe, M-I-S-T-L-E-T-O-E, mistletoe. Are you familiar with mistletoe?
Mistletoe hanging from the ceiling or the doorway. Is that what you're referring to on Christmas?
Yeah. Why would they do that? Why would? What is it about mistletoe? What's the whole adage that you have when you see mistletoe? It's hanging under the doorway or something like that. What's up with mistletoe? What do you do? What are you supposed to do?
It's a coincidence in time where you're supposed to, I believe, share a kiss.
Share a kiss, that's right. Here's from the UK Telegraph. The death of mistletoe. Work parties ditch Christmas tradition over abuse fears. The custom of kissing under festive foliage is in decline because of wokery, says one auctioneer. That's right. So work parties are now ditching the Christmas tradition of having mistletoe someplace in the doorway because you might have an sexual abuse claim against an employee, so we can't have that. Now, first of all, do you do that? I mean, is it a good thing to do? I mean, knowing, like, doesn't that seem awkward? Like, why would you want to kiss one of your, your coworkers anyway? Doesn't that feel just as a, natural function of what mistletoe does? I mean, I'm dancing around this, but I'm really getting right to the point. Like, you're not going to do that, are you? Like, if you were in a doorway with an employee, wouldn't you be like, yeah, there's the mistletoe. I'm not kidding. Okay, I'm going to get some more the eggnog. Right? You just kind of walk away from it. Like, you're not going to do that, are you? Have you ever worked in a workplace where that was going on? He is like, do I have to answer this?
Why would you even hang the mistletoe in the first place at a work event?
Yeah, well, I guess that's a good point.
Just don't even allude towards it. Right. It doesn't exist. That's not mistletoe. That's some dirt. I didn't. The cleaning people haven't been doing a very good job. It's just some. It looks like algae or something like that. I don't know. It's coming from the air conditioning vent. We see that a lot in Florida. You see the mold coming out of the air. That's all it is. It's just mold that looks like mistletoe. But anyway, so it's dying out, and obviously because you can't have nice things and fun things because somebody's gonna do something ridiculous. So we move on from that. Let's move on, shall we? All right, what else are we following here at Florida's Voice? Oh, this is a fun story. CNN, for some reason, just continues to want to go after conservatives, Republicans, people that have helped to get Donald Trump elected president of the United States once again. And here's a reporter who tried to make an attempt to kind of bait Scott Presler. Scott Presler, who has done amazing things to get out the vote, and really Scott Presler, I mean, a huge reason why so many areas around the country, especially Bucks County in Pennsylvania, were leaning towards Trump. And they asked him about, well, here, let me just play this clip of what the reporter at CNN asked Scott Presler.
I noticed that when you urge people to action,
yes,
you often include the word
peacefully.
Is that to avoid another Jan 6 type incident?
With all due respect, it's to avoid people like you guys saying that I'm anything but.
Good for him. It's like, no, I say peacefully because if I don't say that, then you at CNN drum up some fake news story and make it into something it's not, and then you see where I'm going here?
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m. Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the-right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way. No way. No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
So John Morgan had an interesting, some might say provocative conversation with Chris Cuomo on his News Nation program. Wait till you hear what he said about Kamala Harris and the Democrat Party. Whoa. What's coming up?
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show.
Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important. We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with an offer that can help steer your retirement in the right direction. Look, we're going to navigate the turbulent waters of 24 with this financial uncertainties and shifting tides. Having expert guidance is more crucial than ever, and that's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. As Southwest Florida's certified financial planner professional, Alfie brings expert knowledge and insight. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, isn't just a guide. It's your navigational compass for mastering the financial seas. With decades of experience, Alfie has crafted a powerful roadmap to help you chart your course and make impactful waves in your retirement. Look, for a limited time, you can claim your free copy of this valuable guide. That's right, no cost. This book is more than just pages. It's your blueprint for a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. Don't let this opportunity drift by. Text book to 239-747-1080. That's book to 239-747-1080. Look, secure your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently navigate towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
It's always a good day when you hear from TJ Meister from the Floor Meisters in Naples, 6281 Naples Boulevard, 239-596-4964. All right, let's see what's going on with TJ today. How are you, TJ?
I'm doing well, thank you, Drew. It's good to hear you on the radio.
Thanks, TJ. Appreciate it. All right, Floor Meisters, what do we got going on?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for CoreTech. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the west coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
Why do people love CoreTech so much?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
You got to call the Floor Meisters in Naples. What do you need? Tile, carpet, CoreTech, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, 596-4964. Give them a call, 596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just got to hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us the voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, great to see you. Thanks for joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D on the other side of the glass. Nina's in the newsroom and working hard to get us all kinds of breaking news stories, whatever is popping. As the kids like to say, what's popping? So I don't know if they say that or not. So I'm checking out some of the stories that Nina's got for us. I'm going to get to those in just a second. Want to remind everybody that if you want to watch at FL Voice News, you can go to YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. And by the way, if you go to X, Big D, just so everybody knows, if you want to make sure that you get an alert, so you know when we are live. Obviously, you've got the subscriptions on YouTube, but on X, you can go to the little bell, and it goes, the bell goes ding.
Ding!
Right? So isn't that what you do? You click on the bell there?
That's what you do.
That's all you want it.
This is what you do.
That's what you do. All right, good for you, D. So that's what you do, and you'll know when we are live. Good stuff. All right, I guess according to Eric Doherty in the Florida's Voice newsroom, the Trump transition team signed a memorandum to an understanding
the Biden White House that it's going to allow Trump's cabinet nominees to begin, quote, critical preparations, like sending landing teams into every department. Oh, that's some good stuff. It's interesting what you're willing to do when you come to realize that somebody isn't Hitler or a Nazi or a fascist or something like that.
I don't see no stinking Nazis in here.
Exactly. Yeah, so there's that. Also, this story that was popping too, there's a lot of information that's come out from the Kamala Harris donor call that was happening, and people were really concerned about her campaign and how much money was spent. And as a matter of fact, we come to find out this morning that even Peter Doocy and Fox News was talking about the DNC. And what were they doing? The DNC, the hundreds of, what was it, $20 million in debt? Spent over $1 billion on the failed campaign, and what's going on?
They are about $16,000 of a $25,000 goal. It doesn't seem like they're that people who donated a lot of money for months, even just $10, $15 at a time on those recurring payments that you get the text messages about constantly in an election season. It doesn't seem like there's much of an appetite.
Much of an appetite for what? What is he talking about? They're at a $16,000 of a $25,000 goal for what? Well, the DNC set up a GoFundMe page to pay staff because Kamala Harris spent over $1 billion and put them in such debt that they can't even pay the staffers. So they've set up a GoFundMe page.
For people to open their wallets again for that, or for the Harris campaign that now needs Tim Walz to go out and ask for help.
So Tim Walz is going out to ask for help to try to get some funds to help to make up for this this shortfall in the money that was spent. What in the world happened, right? That you can't even pay the staffers, and they're setting up GoFundMe pages. Well, this is pretty deep because Kamala Harris and Tim Walz were addressing the National Finance Committee. Well, they're going to be doing it next week because of the $20 million in debt after a lavish spending spree that we've talked about often. So John Morgan, political mega donor, as it's described at News Nation, was on Chris Cuomo's program and talking about how the people who poured money into the Harris-Walz campaign were trying to defeat Trump, not elect Harris, and that the campaign spending was cause for serious concern. Well, I wanted to play some audio of this exchange because overall it's remarkable. So follow this. Kamala Harris spent over $1 billion, $20 million in debt, and staffers can't get paid to the point where they're doing GoFundMe pages to try to get somebody to help out. It's that bad. And so Chris Cuomo talks to political Democrat mega donor. Can we say Democrat? Well, okay. John Morgan. And just here's how it starts out.
His name is Morgan, and he has raised a lot of money for Democrats.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving, big brother. Thank you very much for coming on this show and helping my audience.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, big brother. Happy Thanksgiving, big brother. Hey, Big D. Big brother. I call you Big D, but he called him Big Brother. Does that seem odd? Why would Chris Cuomo call John Morgan Big Brother? Hey, Big Brother.
It's very odd. And I was thinking about it if he meant it in one way or another, but is there a way where people connect Big Brother to somebody who has a lot of money or gives a lot of money out? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I don't know that I would ever call anyone who was helping like a Big Brother. Hey, Big Brother. Big Brother. Okay. It's weird. All right. So let's see what else is said here.
John, I never heard anything like this before. Do you think somebody stole the money?
Okay. Do you think they stole the money? I mean, where did it go? $1 billion spent, $20 million in debt. So Chris Cuomo's asking John Morgan, did it get stolen or?
Well, maybe legally. I mean, look, to me, you remember the movie Mad Max when everybody's just doing whatever they wanted into the world? that's what happened here. All of a sudden, everybody's got the keys to the candy store. Ad buyers, talent, consultants. There's 100 days to do it. And the money started pouring in. Remember this, Chris. It wasn't pouring in for Harris. It was pouring in against Trump. Everybody that was voting and supporting Harris was really voting against Trump. And everybody that was voting for Trump was voting for Trump. So she had all this money coming in. She had all these consultants.
All right, so all this money, all this consultants, and mind you, this is what it was all about. It was about defeating Trump. I mean, which is a really weird thing to say, because if I were, for example, if I were to say, hey, Big D, I just want you to know that you are my candidate. You're my guy. You're the best person. This is what I'm telling you personally, right? You're my guy. And I'm telling you, a bunch of money is coming into your campaign soon, and all the money is coming in because they want to defeat Trump. Do you think to yourself, hey, well, what about me? Aren't you giving me the money because you believe in me? Like, shouldn't you be saying Kamala Harris, or Big D in this case, is amazing, and he would make a great president, let's just say? And I don't, that doesn't feel like I'm getting a lot of love. Do you see what I'm saying? Would that feel weird to you?
That would feel very weird. It's almost as if they wanted Trump to lose and they didn't care if it was Kamala or whoever it was, as long as he didn't win.
Right. And they don't care, by the way, and thanks, they don't care how they had to do it. I mean, it didn't make a difference what we had to do with that money to make sure that Donald Trump was going to lose, because that's what it was all about. It wasn't propping up and showing the country how awesome Kamala Harris is. No. It was all about defeating Trump. And boy, did they go through some things to try to figure out how they were going to defeat him. I don't really have to elaborate on that, do I? You know the stuff. But anyway, the point is that that's what it was all about. And, you know, you got all these people that have the key to the candy store, and everybody. Well, hold on a sec. Who was running the campaign? Saw Barack Obama a lot. We know Barack Obama was getting involved. We know a lot of the people behind Barack Obama's campaigns and even behind the Biden White House, and they were all helping, right? It wasn't like different people. It wasn't like magically it's like, hey, I know a friend that knows a friend that knows how to run campaigns. Let's get that person to do it. No. So isn't that an indictment on the people that surround? Well, anyway, go ahead, keep going. It's what else do we have here?
And if you don't run the ads, you don't get paid for the buy. They were running ads in Florida, where I live, nonstop, and I'm like, why? I mean, are they running them in Alabama and Idaho too? And I'll tell you why. If you don't run the ads, the buyer doesn't get paid.
If you don't run the ad, the buyer doesn't get paid. Okay? So they were just throwing money around and paying people, and didn't make a difference where it was. Just throwing it in places that, listening to John Morgan, it sure sounded like, well, you're wasting money in this state. Why are you doing this?
$900,000 to put her face on the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Big D, did you know that? Did you know that? Let me play this again, and then I want you to comment on this. Did you hear that?
$900,000 to put her face on the Sphere in Las Vegas.
They spent Okay, stop. They spent nine.
Yes.
Yeah, what? Yes, what?
Yeah, that was public knowledge. You didn't see that?
No. I personally didn't, but I guess I was busy that day.
It was all over X.
Almost $1 million to put her face on the Sphere. Oh, ridiculous. Man. Ridiculous. All right, let it go on a little bit more.
In the Sphere, the ego, the crazy, the commissions. I was at the White House for a dinner Friday night, talking to a lot of people, and I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of whispering. There's a lot of names about who got paid this, who got paid that.
Oh.
And a lot of people got rich on the back of donors trying to stop Trump.
What? Hold on a second. John Morgan says.
And a lot of people got rich on the back of donors trying to stop Trump.
Wow. So why would anybody want to donate to the Democrat Party ever again? And
I think this disqualifies her forever. If you can't run a campaign, you can't run America.
Yeah, but Kamala Harris didn't run the campaign, right? For all intents and purposes, it was the Biden White House and Barack Obama, and these were the people that were behind it. And listen, when this clip was presented to me, here's what people said to me as a question mark. Just a thought, not necessarily what went down. But it sure sounds like Big D, it sure sounds like, follow me on this, because I need you now to be my ombudsman. It sure sounds like a redistribution of wealth. In other words, as it was described to me by some, a lot of people got rich from the donors. Almost like this is all we have. She's going to lose. You know she's going to lose. Why are you spending money in Florida? Yeah, why are you spending money in Florida? She's going to lose there. Why did you do that? It's almost like they were redistributing wealth, passing it around.
A group of people could have a nice payday before the election,
knowing that they were going to lose. And at least if they're going to lose, let's get some people paid. How about that? Wow. I mean, that has been something that's been mentioned to me, and it's like, I don't know. But whoa, that's pretty heavy.
And that would be the argument just day one. So it was terrible. I think she did a good job in the debate. I think she did as good a job as she could hope for in a short period of time. I told everybody, she should not have been the nominee. She was not going to win, and she didn't win, and she lost badly. So she's got to go figure out her life. She's in Hawaii. Tim Walz was at the dinner. She was in Hawaii. So
isn't that weird? So talking about this dinner that he was at, John Morgan at the White House, and Kamala Harris isn't even there. She's in Hawaii. Tim Walz is there like, I'm here to help. Where's Kamala Harris?
She's having a call with donors this week. They tell me about her political future. I don't think she has a political future. So that's my thought on her.
So there you go. His thought on her. No political future. Keys to the candy store, ad buyers, talent consultants. 100 days to go. The money's pouring in and it's pouring out. If you're a Democrat donor, no, and I mean this sincerely, why would you? Why would you donate to Democrats? Well, because it's the only place as a Democrat, I guess you've got no place else to go. But man, how horrible do you feel handing over your hard-earned dollars to an organization, that being the DNC, that spent $1 billion, you know the laundry list of things that they spent money on, $20 million in debt, and had buys in Florida. Like, what?
How bad is this for the party going forward?
Yeah, that's a good question, Chris Cuomo, to John Morgan. How bad is this for the party?
It's terrible because when you don't trust, it's like Andrew Gillum down here in Florida. He lost by just a little bit. Mm-hmm. But the money was...
Yeah, let me just stop for a second. You remember that? 2018, he lost by a little bit. Could you imagine what kind of state the state of Florida would be if Andrew Gillum would have won the election in 2018? Take a second, step back, grab onto something sturdy, hold yourself up, and hold yourself together, and imagine a world where Andrew Gillum would have been the governor of this state.
Yeah, to DeSantis, just a little bit. But the money was so squandered and kept that, and he was going to take all that money he kept and rebuild the party. The Republicans got 1 million more voters now. What happened in Florida is with Gillum is going to the same thing is going to follow Harris for the rest of her career. She cannot be trusted with the money.
Wow.
And
wait, we got let it go.
And the party and the donors are going to be like, where is this money going? The week of the election, a former ambassador called me and said, I'm having a fundraiser, for this like 2 days before the election. I said, how can you spend the money? Well, we need it for GOTV. I said, no, No. I stopped giving once Biden was out, as you know, Chris.
Okay. So he was a Biden supporter. He stopped giving when Biden got out. But how about that? I mean, not just here in the state of Florida, but nationally. How do you do it? Spent all this money, $20 million in debt. How do you trust the party? How do you? Well, I mean, you'll continue to do it. You won't do anything to fix it. Does it speak volumes to not only how mismanaged, what they did on the way out, maybe knowing what was coming, and, some people getting paid because it's what you do.
This is what you do.
Or it's dysfunction to a level like we've never seen before. Like, talk about feckless. It's feckless on steroids. That's a weird expression. Feckless on steroids. Those might be 3 words never put together before in the history of mankind, except I did it. Feckless on steroids. Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot there, but I'll say this. They're broken. The Democrat Party is broken. And the American people came along and said, it's all right, we'll fix it. At least Trump will fix it, and we'll get back to some sense of normalcy, right? I mean, that would be nice to get back to some sense of normalcy. I mean, it's not like you have judges that are out there who refuse to acknowledge basic biology. I mean, of course, that doesn't happen, so that's nothing to worry about. I mean,
Breaking news. A bombshell.
Wait a second, just in. Yeah, there's a judge there that had to look over the case there of the San Jose State women's volleyball team. And they got a player on there. They have a gentleman who's playing on the team. And a judge on Monday rejected a request to block the San Jose State women's volleyball team member from playing in a conference tournament on the grounds that she's a transgender. And there's a lawsuit. 9 current players against the conference are challenging league policies for allowing the transgender player to participate. It poses a safety risk. It's unfair. Now, if you think people being physically injured by a male playing on a female sports team, volleyball in specific might be something that they're describing being a safety risk or unfair, you would be right, because that has happened. If you're thinking that there are girls, women, who have lost hundreds of medals and titles and scholarships because of the transgender playing in this women's sport as being unfair, you'd be right about that as well. But the judge was like, yeah, listen, not going to happen. So the judge will allow the player who has played all season to compete in the Mountain West Conference Women's Championship this week in Vegas. I wonder if they've got Kamala Harris's giant face on the sphere still. I mean, you'd think for almost $1 million, it'd still be up there. Like, leave it up there a little longer. I mean, why not? So these are the issues of our time. These are the issues that people decided to vote on. And these are the genuine discussions that we are going to have leading into the future. So there's that. I mean, at least the State Department isn't having crying sessions over Trump or anything like
Breaking
that.
Breaking news. A bombshell.
Oh, come on! Is this... All right, hold on. Wait, all right. Page left. Okay, there it is. Yeah, I guess the State Department... Well, Darrell Issa, a Republican of California, is demanding answers after taxpayer-funded crying sessions were held in Foggy Bottom following Trump's election victory. That's... It's disturbing that ostensibly nonpartisan government officials would suffer a personal meltdown over the results of a free and fair election, something U.S. champions around the world. It's unacceptable that the department accommodates this behavior and subsidizes it with taxpayer dollars. This is what Secretary of State Anthony Blinken did. They had crying sessions set up on your dollar, like you there in the state of Florida. Look, I'm looking at you right now at Florida's Voice, FL Voice News, Don X, Rumble. YouTube, Facebook, your dollars, your hard-earned dollars. Crying sessions. Some might say you can cry a little harder. Because it's over now. And this is what people voted for or against. And now, as elections will have consequences, we hope that we will have nominees that soon will be members of the Trump cabinet that are going to do what is not going to be the tough work. I've said it to people many, many times. I said it many times to Kash Patel. Look, clean house, dude. Just clean it out. Clean everything out. Stomping and screaming, whatever the case may be, that people will let them do it. Just let them do it. Doesn't matter. Rip the Band-Aid off. We want all the information that's out there on Big D wants all the information on the JFK assassination and aliens, because he's a big Star Trek guy, right? Big Star Trek guy. Is that what it is?
Not a big Star Trek guy, but I do want to know everything about the JFK assassination and aliens.
Yeah. So aliens, yeah, and whether or not Yoda's real, and then we need to rip the Band-Aid off on deportations, the border, fiscal responsibility, energy independence. I can go on and on and on. Just do it. Just do it.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you probably know this. I've had a music career, an EMI published songwriter in the past. I've had a top 20 Billboard hit and movie soundtracks. But I got my start right here in Southwest Florida at Soundcheck Studios with Jim Becker. I worked with Jim when he was producing big names like Castrol and Beck's Beer and other commercial clients from ABC, NBC, CBS. He's done it all. It doesn't make a difference what your musical style is. If you're talking about recording for bands or producing music, jingles, he does it all at Soundcheck Studios. Recently, he worked with RCA artist Doja Cat and also a Sony artist Flipped and Arrow. A lot of great artists have made their way through Soundcheck Studios. So if you want to make your brand memorable with a jingle or maybe a commercial you want to cut, or maybe it's a band, give Soundcheck Studios a call today. 239-340-0515. That's 239-340-0515 for Soundcheck Studios.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Radical anti-hunting forces are working to ban fishing and hunting across the country. These extreme attacks on our heritage must be met. Thankfully, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting back as the nation's premier organization defending our rights to fish and hunt. This April, you can step into the arena with us and join our fight in Naples, Florida. Join us at the historic Ritz-Carlton Tiburon and hear from world-class speakers including Tucker Carlson. The annual event is the best place for conservationists, anglers, hunters, and all those who want to protect the outdoors to come together, build strategies to protect our rights, and expand opportunities in the future for generations to come. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. You don't want to miss this event.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with a game-changing offer for those ready to master their retirement journey. Look, we're going to navigate unpredictable waters in 24, an election year marked by financial uncertainty. It's crucial. You've got to have expert guidance. That's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. The Southwest Florida Certified Financial Planner Professional, Alfie brings unparalleled experience and insight to the table. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, it's not just a guide. It's your strategic compass for navigating the financial seas with confidence. Look, with decades of experience, Alfie has created a powerful roadmap. It'll help you chart your course and make meaningful waves in your retirement. And for a limited time, you can get your hands on this book free. That's right, no cost. The book is more than just a collection of stories. It's a blueprint for achieving a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. So don't miss out. Text book to 239-747-1080 right now. It's book to 239-747-1080 and claim your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently steer towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Once again, anytime you want to call, live, the program, 3 to 6 p.m. each and every day, Monday through Friday, 866-588-8303. And anytime you want to watch, at FL Voice News, we are there on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, X, and we appreciate you watching. All right, it's time for the top 5 audio clips of the day. It's my top 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is Drew's top 5. Number 5.
Why do you think that Kamala Harris didn't win and win overwhelmingly?
I think Joe Biden's decision to step aside and pass the torch was the right decision. It gave us a chance to win. It didn't give us a guarantee. And I thought she could win. And I thought she could win in all the battleground states. But ultimately, what we saw both in this country and around the world was a very strong anti-incumbent wave that took out both progressives and conservatives. And our party became associated with the status quo. And that was too much to overcome. I think the principal issue is the economy. And over years and even decades, it's gotten more and more difficult for people working full-time to make a living. And until we resolve that challenge to the economy, we may find the presidency is easier to get than it is to keep.
Easier to get than it is to keep. That's Adam Schiff the other day on Meet the Press. I wonder what he meant by that. Because when you hear Adam Schiff talking about all the problems the Democrat Party had and Kamala Harris had and the problems that we have in this country, and then easier to get than it is to keep, meaning the presidency, how about the country? Can we keep the country too, or is that too much to ask? It's
Number 4.
Well, look, me and the Denver mayor, we agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail. I'm willing to put him in jail. Because there's a statute, it's Title 8 United States Code 1324 III, and what it says is, It's a felony if you knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from immigration authorities.
I love Tom Homan. I don't know if I can love somebody more. Well, I can love somebody more. But as far as somebody who I've only met a couple of times, and someone who's been on the program, and somebody who is going to be a border czar, that's what I mean. Tom Homan is awesome. As he said about the Denver mayor.
Well, look, me and the Denver mayor, we agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail. I'm willing to put him in jail.
Talking about the Denver mayor, who's like, listen, we'll have a Tiananmen Square situation going on because I'm going to put 50,000 people in front of any federal troops or anybody from the federal government that's trying to deport criminal illegals in this country and get them out. And I will make I'll go to jail if I have to. And Tom Homan's like, all right, we can make that happen.
Number 3.
I noticed that when you urge people to action,
yes,
you often include the word
peacefully.
Is that to avoid another Jan 6 type incident?
With all due respect, it's to avoid people like you guys saying that I'm anything but.
Nice. That is Scott Pressler. Scott Pressler, who's
my
done amazing
motto.
Work. Whoops, how was that all about? Scott Pressler, who's done amazing work, and of course, someone who really did help during the election, did some, as an activist, did some amazing work in Bucks County and other places to get out the vote. And there was the CNN reporter. You know, when you urge people to action, you're using the word peacefully. It's like, yeah. She's like, well, because you were trying to avoid a J6? No, because of you guys. Because if I don't say that, you're gonna say it's anything but, and then I have to say it and make that so that you won't say it, and you haven't said it so far. So I guess it's working. And so that's a good thing.
Number 2.
Tout le monde. I had a good call with Donald Trump last night again. We obviously talked about laying out the facts, talking about how the intense and effective connections between our two countries flow back and forth. We talked about some of the challenges that we can work on together. It was a good call. It
was a good call. That's the Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, who had a good call with President Trump after Trump was like, listen, I don't know if you know this, but we're getting ready to slap a 25% tariff on you and Mexico as well, because we got some issues going on here, and we needed to fix them up, and we need your help. What do you say? And he sounded really uncomfortable there. Like, yeah, so we had a really good call, and everything was really good, and everything's fine, and nothing to see here, everything's good. I haven't heard Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau sound that uncomfortable since
LGBTQ2+.
Yeah, since that time.
Number 1.
I was at the White House for a dinner Friday night, talking to a lot of people, and I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of whispering. There's a lot of names about who got paid this, who got paid that, and a lot of people got rich on the back of donors trying to stop Trump. And I think this disqualifies her forever. If you can't run a campaign, you can't run America.
We knew that she couldn't run a campaign or run America or anything like that. That's John Morgan. John Morgan was on Chris Cuomo's program on News Nation and talking about how where did the money go? All the donor money. I mean, there was a ton of money that was out there. Where did it all go? I don't understand. $20 million in debt, a lavish spending spree, $900,000, almost $1 million with her face on the Sphere in Las Vegas, and all kinds of reports of people saying, whispers like, how do we do this again? What do we do? She's not going to run in 2028 or anything like that. I mean,
Drew's Top 5.
But then there was that story that came out just the other day where, yes, as a matter of fact, Kamala Harris, I guess, hasn't had enough. She wants to come back for more. And the talk was 2028, like she's thinking about it. No, seriously, she's thinking about 2028. You can't be serious, but she is. And I think they're trying to get ahead of this and say, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. The donors are not going to go for it. So that was pretty remarkable from John Morgan and some of what he said on Chris Cuomo's program. And I would encourage you to check that out in its entirety because, yeah, what they did with the money, I mean, well, let's just put it this way. Something's up. right, some of the other stories that are out there here at Florida's Voice that we are following, looking at some of the headlines. Nina sent me headlines from the newsroom. Majority of Americans aged 18 to 29 view Trump favorably, according to a recent YouGov poll. Wow, 18 to 49s. I think the 18 to 49s are going to save the country. I think that Trump is going to do his best. Mind you, there's Democrats, so the problem will be Democrats. And 18 to 29. Can you believe that? Majority of Americans aged 18 to 29 view Trump favorably. They're going to save the country. They're going to save us. I'm telling you, they see it. They see what's going on. Donald Trump Jr. is saying that President Trump may remove mainstream media press outlets from the White House briefing room, instead give the passes to independent journalists. Hey, Big D, that's us. Can we consider ourselves independent journalists? Can we say that? Can we maybe we'll get one. That would be so sweet.
We can.
I'll give it to you. I'll let you go.
Oh, what a guy.
Yeah, because I picture you. Because having seen you before, I picture you as with like a pen in your ear, like in a notebook in your hand, like this, doing the whole. Where were you on the night of July 27, 1960? Like I picture you as being that. Like you would be really good at that. So
that's how I started off in college.
With a pen in your ear and a notebook. Is that right?
Running around campus with a notepad and pen, interviewing people. Yeah, not quite pencil in the ear, but yes.
Well, why did you run? Why didn't you just walk? Why are you in such a hurry? Why are you in such a hurry?
There's no time to waste, Drew. It's breaking news.
I get it. Okay, I see. He wants to.
Breaking news. A bombshell. All
right, that's enough of that. Just in, Nancy Pelosi's net worth has reportedly reached an all-time high of $264 million. How does that happen? How does Nancy Pelosi make Big D? How does Nancy Pelosi make $264 million as a congresswoman? Can you tell me?
Insider trading.
Okay. Allegedly. Okay. So we don't want to put that out there necessarily. But send your cards and ledgers, cares of this station, to Big D, and he'll file it properly. Let's see. The White House press briefing shakeup would be awesome. MSNBC was unaware Harris' campaign gave $500,000 to Al Sharpton's group. Oh, my gosh. But there's more. So Fox News reporting that MSNBC had no idea that the Harris campaign gave $500,000 to Al Sharpton's group ahead of their interview. Oh, man. Just giving it all out. It doesn't – D, all right, come on. I got to bring you in the conversation. Let's talk honestly about this. It's just me and you, right? Nobody else is listening. It's just us. Here we go. It sounds like a payoff. It's like they knew she was going to lose. They were getting billions of dollars from the donors. I mean, this is allegedly. I mean, this is what I'm saying. They were getting billions of – no, that's not allegedly. They did. They were getting billions of dollars from donors. All this money was coming in. They only had 100 days. They knew. Now we come to find out that the campaign knew that there was at no time the Kamala Harris campaign's Interpol now says that they knew that she had never been leading Trump at all. That senior advisor, David Plouffe, said, no, we knew it the whole time. That means that the money
still kept pouring the money out.
Yes. So the money kept pouring out. They were trying to make it seem like it was close so that the spigot would stay open and the money would come in. And then they took the money and they spent it on their buddies. They spread it around. It was a redistribution of wealth. It went to anybody and everybody that may have helped in the past. Every Democrat. How can you say that's not the case? It feels like that's exactly the case. So, D, I appreciate that you joined us there. Last week, the Hallmark Channel beat out CNN and MSNBC on viewership. That is pretty funny. And then there's one other question I want to ask. As I'm looking at the time before we go to break, and we got time. So there's this. So in our pre-show meetup, me, Big D, Nina, getting together and talking about, hey, what are you having for dinner tonight? Macaroni and cheese. Macaroni and cheese? No. If it got lobster on it, then we're talking. Lobster mac? All right. And then after that conversation about food, I started to ask, because I saw David Rehoboy who's fantastic. He's got a great Substack. And he asked the question, a whimper, not a bang. Where was Antifa after Trump's victory? Democrats had gone to the edge of American discourse, beyond, which is the disintegration of normal political life. And then, when they've been repudiated by the voters, they meekly pulled back. Why? Isn't that interesting? I'm just skimming through some of the headline here, some of the paragraphs, excuse me. So many people excited about Trump's victory. But everybody knew, they figured, even the fences went up around the Capitol. Remember that? Like, what kind of rioting? What are we going to see? And everything ended. People were screaming. They were upset. They worked very hard on Kamala Harris and MSNBC and CNN and some of the angry denunciations of elements of the different people out there. And the emotion seemed forced and perfunctory as he was describing the fact that there was no defiant or fiery speech that night as it ended. Candidate wasn't seen at all, unwilling to face even the dedicated supporters that worked so hard for her, just disappeared. The downbeat response to Trump's victory seemed out of place, given the feverish severity of how Democrats articulated the stakes of the election. Right? It was Hitler. It was fascism. It's like, we can't let it's the end of democracy as we know it.
I don't see no stinking Nazis in here.
Yeah, I'm not going to get a whole lot of time to play that audio, so I always have to hit it when I can. Right? The Hitlerism, Hitlerian, Nazi fascist Trump threat to democracy. They kept pushing it, and people were like, "Oh man, this isn't going to end well because he's going to win, and when he wins, what are they going to do? Nothing." I mean, if you're faced with somebody who is going to be the end of this country and possibly you do anything and everything you have to stop them, and now all of a sudden it's like he's invited to the White House, so Biden's going to be at the inauguration. Everything seems fine. Nobody's doing anything. The Democrats went to the very edge, as he described it, of American discourse, beyond, which is the disintegration of normal political life, and then just gone. So maybe when we come back, we ask the question, because there is an answer to the question. Why not? Why didn't anything happen immediately after Trump's victory? Where was Antifa? Where were the riots on the streets? And, there's an answer to that coming up.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, let me finish up this point before we finish up the program. We put a bow on the show today. Here's what we were talking about earlier. David Riaboy had this up on his Substack, and he was talking about Antifa and what's going on here. Why is it that Antifa, it's a whimper, basically? Like, what happened? Like, why is it that Antifa, after Trump's victory, nothing happened? And that's a legitimate question. Like, it's the things that we described, like all of the different things that we had seen happening, all of the talk of Nazis and fascism and threat to democracy, and everything's going to end as we know it, and fences going up at the Capitol, and all of these different things. And then all of a sudden, Trump wins, and next thing you know it, everything's quiet. What's going on? And here's what he describes at the end of this Substack. In short, we didn't see post-election violence. And this, and Big D, I'm going to put the mic up in just a second, because I want you to, because we were talking about it. It's like, what's the end result of this? Like, we didn't finish our thought together when we had the pre-show talk of this topic. But as he described it, we didn't see the post-election violence or mass protests, because the scale of Trump's victory meant that such rioting would appear, at least temporarily, as the angry self-indulgence of a minority that had been legitimately beaten at the ballot box. In other words, if they came out and started to riot, people would be like, oh, give me a break. It was an overwhelming victory. It wasn't even close, and everybody knows it. And so what you're doing now is just an angry self-indulgence of your voice out there because you're just upset. So the riots will come soon enough, as he described, and Antifa will menace the streets once again. While it wouldn't have served to activate them during or after the 24 campaign, the Democrats' rhetoric about fascism and Nazism is a boon to Antifa, which looks forward to being presented again as freedom fighters in the media's next just cause. In other words, they're just biding their time. This has happened in the past. You can go back to certain times where you look at, as he was describing it, Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown and George Floyd, and in certain points in our history where these events would take place, and next thing you know it, there would be rioting. And so Antifa saw this, and the left learned valuable lessons about the kind of, as he described, topical triggers that work and those that fail, and just bide your time, and that ultimately it's going to come. But it will come when everybody can focus on Trump bad. Trump's not bad right now because nothing's happened yet. The minute something does and there's an opening, that's when they pop out. Big D, does that make sense? Do you see where he was going with that? Makes total sense.
It does make sense. And as I was perusing X today during the show, there's also talks that people are kind of calming down and accepting it, but also getting ready for, unfortunately, Inauguration Day.
Right.
So that's when people are starting to worry again.
Yeah. And one other thing before we go, Hans Mankey is someone who I follow on X. He's a great follow. He's been watching a lot of what has happened with the Russia collusion hoax and things that happened to the Trump 1.0 in the past. And, you know, we talked about the move now, the transition that the Biden White House is like, yeah, come on in, the transition will start. But here's something that Hans brought up that's very interesting. The transition is not going to use government buildings or technology provided by the GSA. It's going to operate as a self-sufficient organization. They're saying that the autonomy will help to streamline the process, but you know what it is. They knew from the past what they did to General Flynn during the previous transition, the fake briefing by Comey, and how that was used as a pretext for the Russia collusion hoax. Boys, he's smart.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
All right, listen, thanks for joining us today on Florida's Voice at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. We really appreciate you. We appreciate you. And we appreciate you. We appreciate and we appreciate, which I don't know what the difference is. The difference is my teeth, I guess. Have a great day.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.